Hey everyone, this is Disc Junkie and welcome back to Secondhand Sickness. Today is an absolutely beautiful day. There's not a cloud, well there are clouds in the sky, but let's just say that there's not a cloud in the sky, or at least it feels like it. And I am obviously back at my favorite carboot sale, because that's one of my weekend pleasures now during summertime. And I am, as usual, going to hit the tables, see if I can find anything fun. And today I'm also picking up a couple of VHS tapes, which one of my friends is selling. Basically met him the last time I was here last weekend, and he said he had some tapes, and so then we messaged back and forth and sent me some pics. So I know what I'm picking up, so I'm be getting some tapes from him at least. So I won't be going home empty-handed, but hopefully I will find some other cool stuff. But yeah, I'm really psyched for this. So
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
right, so I think I am basically done for the day. It is ridiculously warm today. Summer has essentially hit us just full force, and yeah, I'm pretty much dripping with sweat. But I'm going to drive back, and then we're going to check out the stuff that I found as usual. Alright, so I'm back home, and there's no big montage for me driving back, because I figured, you know, you watch these videos all the time and I tend to do the same thing over and over again. So yeah, you know how I got home. I drove a car, and now I'm back, and I thought we would go through the stuff that I found, which is primarily videotapes, but there's one small thing on the side which I think was really cool. So anyway, I got this bag here, and I thought we would just go through this fairly randomly. I'll just grab some tapes and show you what I found. So first up is a copy of Gladiator. Now I know that this isn't a collectible tape, but this was really cheap. It cost me 5 Swedish crowns, and I primarily picked it up because I noticed that it has this gold style, or sort of goldish brownish clamshell. This is the same type of clamshell that was presented on the Star Wars Episode 1 tape, which I picked up last weekend, when I went to the same flea market. So I don't know, I just have this thought in my head that I might do some kind of custom release or custom project for some movie where it might be cool to use a gold style clamshell. But I don't know, it was really cheap, and I just basically bought it for the gold style clamshell. So that's the first one. Next up, I got something along the same lines, and this came from the same place, which, let's see, where the hell is this tape? Sorry for being a bit unprepared. Okay, so next up, I actually got a second copy of Star Wars Episode 1, which I picked up last weekend. So why did I get another copy of this? To be honest, I don't really know. Once again, gold style clamshell. I just felt like, you know what, maybe I should just start collecting gold style clamshells in case I want to do something fun with it. I mean, if it's cheap, why not grab one? I know the prequel trilogy isn't generally anything that's sought after, but now with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series and Mandalorian, you know, all these new sort of spin-off series and spin-off project that keep referencing stuff like the prequel trilogy, I feel that sort of these VHS tapes might actually become fairly collectible. But, you know, I'm not buying them to sell them, but this was really cheap, so I figured I might as well grab one just on account of the clamshell color and the fact that it's Star Wars. So I figured, what the hell. So I grabbed that for another 5 Swedish crowns. And in the same little carton or such from the same table, I actually find a copy of Star Wars Episode 2, which is one which I don't have. And this is something I've been one I can get. I actually want to get the third one as well, which is actually quite a rarity in Sweden. I think the third film was basically released at a time when videotapes were sort of going out of style, and I know that it's been released on VHS, but I have honestly not seen it myself. I can't remember seeing it on videotape here in Sweden, but I know it exists. So I'm going to keep my eye out for episode 3 on VHS as well. But this was also part of why I was interested in the gold clamshells, because episode 2 doesn't have a gold clamshell. And I definitely think that they look better in gold clamshells, so I might swap the episode 1 case and use it on the episode 2 one in case I want to do like a display somewhere or something. But this was also cheap, so all these 3 were 5 Swedish crowns a piece, which really isn't anything. It's basically like, I think it's like 50 cents or between 50 cents and $1, so not a lot of money to spend. But that was what I got from this first table. Funny thing about this Star Wars tape though, is that now that I've gotten home and I started checking my shelves, I realized something really cool, which is that this, which is the copy that I purchased today, this is actually different from the one that I found last weekend. And I'm going to show you just what I mean, because this is the copy that I purchased last weekend. And this is actually a gold style clamshell, but it's larger than the one I picked up today. So that actually means that this is a rental copy, while this is actually the retail version. I had no idea that I was buying a different version when I picked it up today. So that was really cool to actually realize that I didn't have this already. I mean, I really picked it up at random because it had a gold style clamshell, and now that I got it, I realized that, oh, that's actually a unique version that I didn't know, so that's actually pretty cool. And here we can actually take a break from the videotapes, because the next thing I found, which was very random but really, really cool, was this little razor blade pendant. And this was something which I found at one of these tables which was selling a whole bunch of jewelry, like rings, necklaces, bracelets, whatever. And it was basically so much stuff that I really had to stand there for a long time before I found anything, because, like, you know, it's mountains and stuff and you're just sort of digging through it, trying to see, like, is there anything I want, like a ring or something, because, as you know, I'm very much of a ring guy now. But in any case, this was one of the few things I found which I really thought was really kind of cool. And so this isn't a real razor blade. I think it actually looks quite genuine, because it's, you know, it's all in one piece, and it's actually really, really thin, which I think usually when you find a pendant like this, it might be a bit thicker, but yeah, it is actually not sharp at all. So yeah, grabbed this and it cost me 40 Swedish crowns, which I don't know if it's worth that kind of money, but you know, it's a razor blade pendant, thought it looked really cool, and I figured I might actually wear this to some extent. Not sure if I will wear it as a necklace or incorporate it into something else, but you know, it's not a unique style, like it's a really unusual type of pendant. If you want to get it, it's not hard to find a razor blade pendant, that's all I'm saying. You just go to eBay or Google or whatever. But yeah, found it at a flea market, 40 Swedish crowns, which I think is a really good price to get a razor blade pendant, I'm sure. So pick that up. Next up, we get to the second lot of videotapes. And this is the tapes that I had already decided to buy from one of my friends who was selling stuff, and I met him last weekend. And I got these fairly cheap as well. I basically paid 20 Swedish crowns per tape. So I thought we'd just go through them. The first one, which I think is probably the most interesting in the lot. This is the Swedish copy of Fright Night. This is released on the Video Trade label. I'm actually not entirely sure as to what year this was released, but I mean, it's a rental tape, and Fright Night is very much a classic film, so I'm sure this should fetch a better price than 20 Swedish crowns. It's not a super collectible label, and I think the film has been released earlier in Sweden. I think this is not the first copy for sure. There's definitely earlier prints out there, but either way, I'm not really looking to sell this. I just thought it was cool to own this movie in the Swedish edition, because I don't actually have this on Swedish VHS. So that was pretty cool. Next up we have, let's see what we got in the bag. Just grabbing these pretty randomly. Alright, so this is the Amityville Curse, which I'm actually not sure where this lines, you know, if you're looking at the timeline for the Amityville movies, I gotta say I'm not totally read up on it, but this is a Swedish release, it's from VCM, and I basically grabbed this because I thought that the cover was so unnerving, and it feels like a very sort of controversial and, you know, unpleasant cover, to be honest. I understand that this is obviously most likely present in the movie, but to use it as cover art I just thought was really morbid. Just this still image of a woman hanging from a tree. I mean, if I was going to promote a movie, I don't know if this would be the image I would use. Even if it's a horror movie, it's just a very sort of realistic depiction of horror. Like, you know, people hang themselves. It would be a lot less controversial if you had a picture of like a monster on the cover. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I basically grabbed this because I thought the cover was basically a controversial image. So that's basically why I grabbed it. Plus, I'm sure, you know, it's a cult classic film. So let's see, then we got two more, and second to last is a film called The Sword of Bushido. Not a film I'm familiar with, but I thought the cover looked kind of cool, kind of campy. And yeah, this is a Swedish release on the Film Kompaniet or Film Company label. Here we got the back cover. So yeah, this is from 1988, or the movie was recorded in 1988. And yeah. So last in the bag here is something which was a bit of a surprise, and I just saw a picture of this and I wasn't really sure like where this originated from or whatever. But the last one I got is a VHS copy of 1 Hour Photo. And I've only seen this film once, quite many years ago, but I remember it as being very sort of unsettling and maybe a bit before its time. I'm not sure how this was met, but I remember watching it in the cinema and it just felt like you didn't really understand what the thought behind this film was, because, you know, Robin Williams was generally considered as a guy who played really pleasant parts, and then this one came along and I just think people in general didn't get it. But I've been meaning to rewatch this, and it's not a movie I own on any kind of format, so I thought it was kind of cool to get it on VHS. But as you notice, this is a just a paper sleeve or a cardboard sleeve rather than a clamshell. And cardboard sleeves aren't really too common in Sweden. If you just check my shelves, which are primarily Swedish VHS tapes, you can tell that basically all of these are just clamshells. And this is true like throughout Sweden's sort of VHS era. If you're talking early rentals or later rentals or retail tapes in the 90s or whatever, they're basically all clamshells. It's very, very rare that you get a Swedish copy which has one of these cardboard sleeves. But I really didn't think about that when I saw the photo, so I just thought like, you know, yeah, 1 Hour Photo, cool movie, I want to get that for 20 Swedish crowns. So now I got it, and I checked the back and realized that this is actually not a Swedish release, it is an American release. And so I don't mind that. I mean, I collect all kind of movies from all kinds of origins, and I have a bunch of American VHS releases. Actually thought, oh, that's kind of cool, getting 1 Hour Photo on an American release in Sweden. That's a good grab at a flea market for 20 Swedish crowns. But then I checked the tape, and I realized that this isn't just an American release. This is actually an American preview video cassette, which means that this is, not sure if this is time-coded, but presumably, you know, this basically means that the cassette is only for promotional use, which means you can't buy this in stores. And if you check the fine print, it even says not for rental or sale. This feature-length screener is for sale, aid use only, and absolutely not for rental. Sale or public demonstration, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you get the fine print. So that is actually a really big surprise, and a really pleasant surprise, because I actually really dig promotional copies, screener copies, anything of that nature is always really cool to get, because it will usually have, you know, some slight cover variation. There might be like exclusive imagery, and yeah, so this was a really big surprise that this was a preview cassette, and definitely a really cool find for 20 Swedish crowns. So yeah, now I own a screen copy of 1 hour photo. But that is pretty much it. So we got 1 hour photo, Sword of Bushido, Amityville Curse, Fright Night, 2 Star Wars tapes, the Razor Blade Pendant, and Gladiator, the special edition on VHS. But yeah, so that is it for my lot today. And that is also it for this video. So I want to say thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this, and as usual, hope to see you all next time.